explosive Tribunal updates, a shock player exit, and a manager link that'll have you either dreaming or screaming, Rangers are at the brink of a total transformation. From takeover truths to transfer tremors, this one's packed with everything you need to know. Want to see these and more Rangers? Stay until the end. Rangers have officially secured Lyall Cameron on a pre-contract from Dundee, a move that's been bubbling under for a while and now finally confirmed. The 22-year-old midfielder raised through Dundee's ranks has quietly built a strong season in the Scottish Premiership, 28 appearances, 5 goals, 4 assists. Not bad numbers at all for a player who's still very much developing. Because Cameron's contract runs out at the end of the campaign, Rangers could swoop in early and tie him down without needing to go through the usual transfer fees, but there's always a but. Since he's a product of Dundee's academy, Rangers are still required to pay a compensation fee, standard practice in Scottish football, especially when you're signing a young talent from within the league. Now, the price tag, that's where it gets a wee bit murky. Talks between Rangers and Dundee have started, but nothing's been finalised yet. If the two clubs can't agree on a figure, this will be heading to a tribunal. And we know how that turned out last time when Rangers signed Connor Barron from Aberdeen. The tribunal ordered the club to cough up around £640,000 with another £250,000 in potential add-ons. A hefty sum that could have gone straight into squad depth or youth development. Dundee's chief executive, John Nelms, has already said neither side really fancies a tribunal. The lawyers are all too familiar with the process, and let's be honest, dragging this out benefits no one. Dundee's academy doesn't even have elite status, which means the final sum for Cameron should be lower than what Rangers had to pay for Barron. But here's the kicker. This entire process is unfolding as the 49ers enterprises look set to finalize their takeover at Ibrox. New owners, new ambitions, and hopefully more financial muscle to back it up. Settling the Cameron fee quickly and cleanly would show a bit of savvy leadership, wouldn't it? No fuss, no courtroom drama, just getting business done the Rangers' way. Should Rangers really be wasting time and money negotiating for potential when there are gaping holes in the first team that need filled now? Or is investing in young Scottish talent exactly the kind of vision we need to stop Celtic walking away with the league year after year? Here we go again, another name being floated in the never-ending merry-go-round for the next Rangers manager. This time, Russell Martin, a familiar face for you, mind you, a brief spell as a player at Ibrox, but now he's being seriously discussed as a managerial option. And after his recent appearance on Gary Lineker's podcast, folk are starting to raise an eyebrow. Martin's known for a very specific football philosophy, possession-heavy, high-pressing, aggressive play. Angeball, some would call it, though let's not get ahead of ourselves by comparing it directly to that lot across the city. Still, he's very much in that mold. He made a decent name for himself at MK Dons and Swansea, and even managed to drag Southampton into the Premier League. But let's be blunt, Southampton under his watch this season have been tragic. Joe Aribo, remember him? Playing centre-half, says it all. Defensively shambolic and utterly toothless up top. And Martin's system demands a certain level of technical ability and squad depth to work, something Southampton clearly didn't have. Now, does that mean he couldn't succeed at Rangers? Not necessarily. In fact, given the dominance you'd expect Rangers to exert in domestic fixtures, you could argue it's an ideal setting for that kind of front foot, possession-based game. He even admitted in the interview that pressing high and being brave on the ball is the only way he sees football working long-term. And you know what? That boldness might just be what's needed to snap this team out of the staleness you've had to watch this season. But here's the kicker. He's been sacked, he's available, and he's being talked up, not because he's winning trophies or tearing up trees, but because his style looks good on paper. Sound familiar? Because that was the exact sales pitch for Michael Beale. Would you really trust a manager who just oversaw one of the worst seasons in English top-flight history to lead Rangers back to the top in Scotland, or would bringing in a man with a proven blueprint despite his failures be the kind of gamble that finally pays off and puts Celtic back in their box? If you're looking for signs that Rangers are about to enter a whole new era of professionalism, investment, and standards, this will be music to your ears. The San Francisco 49ers ownership group, soon to be the new sheriffs at Ibrox, have just had their annual report card published by the NFL Players Association, and it's glowing. We're talking top-tier marks across the board: ownership, coaching, strength staff, nutrition, everything you'd want to see if you're hoping this takeover brings a much-needed culture shift to Ibrox. The 49ers rank 8th out of 32 NFL teams. That's not just respectable, it's elite. This isn't a group coming in blind. They know how to run a sports institution. And what stands out most, players from across the NFL constantly cite the 49ers' strong culture as the cornerstone of the operation. That's not just boardroom speak, that's players feeling valued, supported, and pushed to hit their peak. Exactly the sort of environment Rangers need if you're serious about building a squad that doesn't just challenge Celtic, but buries them. Of course, the report's not perfect. They still charge players for daycare bizarrely, which is something even other NFL teams have moved on from. But when your main complaint is the price of babysitting, you're clearly doing a lot right elsewhere. Parag Maratha's already making waves at Leeds United, steering them back toward the Premier League with 5 games to go, and Gretar Steinsson is deeply involved in football ops. Both will now pivot to Rangers alongside Andrew Kavanagh. And with this kind of proven pedigree and commitment to high standards, the sky's the limit. But let's not sugarcoat it. This takeover isn't just about nice gyms and protein shakes. It's about trophies. It's about rebuilding the standards on and off the pitch. It's about not being second best in your own city. With the 49ers bringing in this ultra-professional culture, do you believe the Rangers squad will finally have no excuses left for falling short? Or will it only expose the players who've been coasting for too long under the weight of the badge? The 49ers haven't even unpacked their suitcases yet, and already internal discussions have begun about the future of James Tavernier. Yes, that James Tavernier, the captain, the 505-game veteran, the man with 130 goals and 141 assists from right back. On the face of it, the stats are legendary. But under the microscope of the new regime, apparently nobody is untouchable. It's being reported that the 49ers are planning a huge rebuild this summer. £25 million potentially being injected into the squad, new manager on the cards, and a long list of names either being lined up or quietly pushed toward the exit. And Tavernier on £30,000 a week and still under contract until 2026 is now being mentioned in the same breath as possible departures. Interest from Italy and the United States is swirling, and with the squad in need of fresh legs and new ideas, his name's on the table. Now, look, Barry Ferguson, holding the fort just now, has publicly backed Tav, spoke well of him, praised his loyalty, professionalism, and leadership. But you know as well as I do, sentiment has no place when a new ownership group walks in the door with spreadsheets and ambition. They don't care about 5 trophies or emotional ties. They care about what comes next. And at 33, with mileage on the clock, questions are being asked whether Tavernier is the man to lead the next Rangers chapter. Of course, there's 2 sides to every coin. A player of his attacking output is a rarity, and you won't find many right-backs in world football with those numbers. But how many times have you watched a major match, especially in Europe or against Celtic, and felt Tavernier was a passenger defensively? Great servant, aye. Rangers legend, you'd be hard-pressed to argue otherwise. But future captain under a bold new era, that's a tougher sell. Has James Tavernier's time at Rangers finally run its course? Or would binning the captain be a betrayal of a man who's carried the badge through thick and thin? If you haven't seen yesterday's video yet, you're missing out. Explosive news about Rangers that'll leave every fan stunned. Go check it out now. Go.